It's your time. It's your place. It's your time out to give yourself the gift of healing. Because in here, there are no limitations to the benefits of soothing infrared therapy, where you can detoxify, de-stress, relieve pain, and burn calories. With over 20 years of innovation, where meticulous craftsmanship meets state-of-the-art technology. Our patented true-wave far infrared and full-spectrum heaters deliver near, mid, and far infrared to raise your core body temperature and surround yourself with soothing infrared heat. You are guaranteed a pure and nurturing environment. So take the time to relax by indulging in the finest infrared experience again and again.
Great. I am now honoured to welcome our next guest. He was one of the early pioneers in the infrared sauna industry and has led Clearlight Saunas to a leadership position over the last 19 years. He's very experienced in designing systems to help heal the body, the creation of health products from inception to execution, manufacturing, and quality control. He also holds several patents and is a Doctor of Chiropractic degree and a BS in Science, Life with Chiropractic Regents College. I'm also very privileged that he is also on the WHA Advisory Board. Welcome, Dr. Raleigh Duncan.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We see that you're hiding out in the sauna.
That's my favorite place to hang out.
Brilliant. Yeah. Right, so we have got lots of people listening live today, and I'm hoping that you're going to pop some questions down in your chats, everyone, which we can
Please
ask
do.
Raleigh. But we're going to get right down to it. How did you get involved with infrared?
So it was a very interesting pathway. I was a machine tool salesman in Ohio, so high tech, laser cutting, metal working, and my life was feeling not that full. I wanted to give back. Anyway, I moved my whole family out to California and enrolled in my 40s in chiropractic school. And then to get through chiropractic school, I was going to massage my way through that. And I turned my home into a day spa. So this was back in the 90s. And I saw an ad for an infrared sauna in a magazine in a doctor's office. And this was really before the internet had taken off. So I bought one. And I would take my massage clients and I would put them in the sauna before they got in the table. And I started using the sauna. And what I noticed, when you put somebody on the table as a massage therapist, it takes them usually 20 minutes or so until you'll maybe hear an and then they're ready. Now the massage really starts. And people would get on the table and their muscles, I noticed, they're all relaxed already. And they were in a very relaxed state. So I started to investigate. Then I became a distributor, and then a Northern California big distributor. Anyway, so it all took off from there, and I started the company in my garage. And massage is a lot of really difficult work, and school was getting more intense. So so I graduated in the year 2000 and kept building my company. And so here we are today. So that's the long and the short of it.
Fantastic. Now, when you first bought your infrared sauna, I'm guessing you didn't really think about what kind of a huge potential there might be for it. But as you got into it, you started to discover what makes infrared special.
It's been what is half my life, this understanding and education. I'm always learning about infrared, and we're discovering all the new things that it's always been doing, discovering the ways through research. And in the beginning, I just knew when I got in the infrared sauna, I felt better and I could see the people on the table. And then I started to unravel what was going on. And then I started to design the heaters. so we could optimize healing. So this is now my practice. I'm not a chiropractor anymore. This is how I send little healing packages out into the world. And at some point, I quit practicing and I just devoted my time to this. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there who either have infrared saunas or are looking at putting infrared saunas in, probably a lot for the same reasons that you did. But could you maybe talk through us what makes infrared special and what is the science behind it?
Sure. So the science is vast, and many cultures, probably every culture, uses some form of sauna. You know, the Russian banya, the Moroccan hammam, the Finnish sauna, the temescal in the south of where we are. So why is that? There's some relationship with heat and what it does to our body to relax our muscles and to make us feel better and to get the toxins out of our body. But infrared is a different animal. It's the technology is different. So I'm sitting in the infrared sauna. I've got heaters all around me, and the infrared heat comes into the body directly through the air. Where the regular Finnish sauna, which is great and has merit, it heats the air up, and that's what's heating the body. But this is different. So the infrared you can't really see in these wavelengths here. Some you can, coming through the body and penetrating into the soft tissue, opening, vasodilating the blood vessels. So that's just sort of the opening primer of the difference. So the air in here is not as difficult to breathe, but you'll still perspire, sweat like crazy, as I say, and get many more benefits from the infrared. So I hope I answered your question with that.
So basically, infrared heats the solid, not the air. So if you,
Correct. Yeah, I mean it will get warm in here, but not that kind of beastly hot where you can hardly breathe. Yeah.
So what's the typical temperature you would look to bathe at in an infrared sauna?
So we can get our saunas up pretty high. We'll say in Fahrenheit, which we use here, maybe 150, which in relation to a box of hot rock sauna would be up in 200, maybe 220. So that's the difference in Fahrenheit. I don't have off the top of my head centigrade for that. Maybe
okay.
You're up in the 80s and 90s, somewhere in there, probably. Yeah.
Excellent. So once you're in the infrared sauna, how long would you typically look to spend in there for a session?
So I've got it down now. After 25 years, I get in the sauna and I do a 15 to 20 minute session and I'm just dripping. But my body, I just walk by a sauna now and I'll start to glisten, a little. But many people go longer, but a lot of the studies have shown you want to stay in for at least 20 minutes. That you will get the maximum effect. There were big studies. There was a huge sauna study out of Finland over 2,300 people over 20 years. And they looked at how many times you used the sauna and what the effects were. And the average sauna time was 20 minutes in there. And what they showed was that if you would use a sauna, so people that use the sauna 3 times a week versus 5, if you would use it, let's say 4 or more versus the person that just used it not at all, you would have a 53% less chance of sudden cardiac death and a 43% less chance of all-cause mortality. And this was a big study over 20 years. So 20 minutes, I feel very confident to say that'll do you good.
Brilliant. Now, when I'm working with clients who have saunas in their own homes, one of the biggest selling points that I talk through with them is that you can have it at whatever temperature you want. And that means that you can tailor it to how you enjoy your bathing, but it also means that you can start to encourage children into the rooms as well. So infrared is good for children too?
Yes. And in the beginning, I didn't really know. And I would tell people, oh, wait till they're 10 or something. And then I saw this study out of Finland, And the little ones were going in, kindergartners would go in these really hot Finnish saunas, and it showed that they had less colds and they had, all these good outcomes. So at that point, the biggest thing with kids is let them come in, make sure they don't touch anything hot, of course, and let them get out when they're ready. Kids are so smart. They'll just, when they're done, and it's time to go. They'll just say, "I'm done here, mommy. I'm out of here." And yeah.
Now, not all infrared saunas are equal, are they? And there are also different types, near infrared and far infrared. And Fiona specifically asked a question about that.
Oh,
So what
good.
are the differences between near and far?
Okay. So when we say far infrared, um, that's really the wavelength. So that's saying the distance between the peaks and the trough. So there's near, mid, and far. And each one does a little different, has a different effect on the body. So far infrared, these heaters behind me are far infrared, and we give off far infrared from our bodies. So I want to have a lot of far infrared around me. And for many, many years, most of the heaters here in the US were far infrared. There's reasons for that, and I can get into that later. But talking about the difference in wavelengths, then mid-infrared is a little tighter in that wavelength, and both far and mid is a little better on the muscles and on the skin. It will have a different effect. And then near is very interesting because far and mid are captured by water. And that is one of the secrets that we figured out for detoxification, because you're vibrating the cells of the body. It's called a resonant frequency. Near is not captured by water, so it goes straight into the body. So it will actually go in deeper into the body without getting, let's say, caught by the water. So it's a deep heater, and it has many other benefits. So that's kind of a thumbnail sketch between the three. The near is usually comes off from a hotter heater. The mid would be a little less hot, and far is again, we give off far infrared, so it's a wider spectrum.
So a good way to remember that is near goes farther in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good one. I never heard that before. Yeah.
Now Chrissy has a question here, just probably just jumping back in
Oh,
on
great.
the temperature of the sauna or of
Yep.
the infrared, asking that she read that there is not an added benefit to be much hotter than being over about 132 degrees. So would going to 150 just be a personal preference?
There's a raging debate on temperature, and so we try to give people, the latitude to get the even though it's in the infrared sauna, it's really not about the air temperature. We're so inculcated, if that's the right word, to that a sauna, you walk in and the air is hot. So anyway, that's the long answer. The quick answer is 132 air temperature really has not a lot to do with it. It's the wavelengths in an infrared sauna. It's the
Yeah.
wavelengths that are coming in, heating
Okay.
the body. So your listener is correct.
Brilliant. Now, I also find with some clients and also the older generation that they maybe don't want it quite as hot anyway, or some want to come in with their clothes on. Is that okay too?
That's okay. You're still going to get benefit. And I'll answer another question in here that comes up a lot is many people don't sweat. So I wouldn't want to sweat in my clothes necessarily, but many people don't sweat. You're still getting many, many benefits through the sauna, through the infrared, even if you don't sweat. And a lot of people's thermoregulation is off many times because of toxicity. And if they'll use the sauna for a period of time and clear out the toxins in their body, the ability to sweat will come back. So,
And I
but
know,
that, yes, you're getting benefit.
and I know I've used infrared saunas just in the winter, just to kind of almost warm up a little bit.
Hmm.
But I know that people also use it maybe for relieving arthritic pain or joint pain as well.
Yes, it really works well. And if you think about it, one of the main causes of pain and everything in the body it's called substance P, and it will get trapped in edema. And many people don't know about this. So as you get in the infrared comes into the soft tissue an inch and a half, vasodilates the blood vessels. So it's encouraging not only blood flow of oxygenated blood through the body to heal and restore, but also to get those substances and toxins out. And one of the substances would be that substance P. So you're going to increase mobility. You're going to put oxygenated blood for healing in the joint and all that. So it's all to the good. So I guess what I'm trying to say, there's a lot happening all at once. Yeah.
And I'm seeing infrared saunas becoming a lot more popular more recently for the use within recovery, but with sports recovery in particular. What benefits has it got there for sports people using it?
A lot of sports people have been using this, and there's also been a lot of studies for recovery, that it aids in recovery, faster recovery, deeper recovery, better recovery. And a lot has to do with the generation of heat shock proteins. And heat shock proteins, HSPs, they're called, actually go into, and if you think of the body is a lot of proteins, and proteins have a certain a lifespan. I guess I have a lifestyle. Yeah. And one of what happens to them is they start to unfold, and they start to not be a very useful protein anymore. And these heat shock proteins come in and refold them, and actually help them to live longer. And they'll also escort, I call them zombie proteins, where they're senescent. They're not dead. They're not half dead. They're half dead. They're not anyway. So they'll escort them out, basically, to take them. So that's part in the recovery. But the other flip side is that using the sauna will also help. If you use a sauna before a workout, will help in building up muscle. So it gets you on the front end and the back end. Works great.
And I guess it could also be used prior to doing some exercise, and as far as like warming up the muscles so that you avoid injury as well.
Yes, very useful for that. And it just makes sense. Heat is going to allow the tendons, the muscles, the ligaments to be able to stretch a little better. Yeah.
Now, I see that you're in a cabin as such. And I believe that you have panels which are called carbon flex style panels. Is that right?
Yeah, we designed these over many years.
And so you have quite a number of panels around the cabin itself, so you get infra heat from all directions.
Correct.
And I think we've got a question on here from Phyllis. She's saying that we've considered using IR panels rather than an enclosed booth. But what are the benefits or pros and cons over using an enclosed booth versus just a standalone panel?
Well, you'll get benefit from using the IR panels, of course, but you won't build up the heat in the body. So we're trying to increase the core heat, the core temperature in the body. So if you're just out in the room, that won't happen. You're still going to get, there are many devices that you're in a room, or you may be laying on a mat, and you're getting benefit of the infrared coming in, vasodilating, relaxing the muscles, doing all the things that it does. But you're not going to get, your core is not going to heat up. So that would be the main thing. But good question.
And I know that you've had a partnership with Halotherapy Solutions and have developed a thing called the Halo IR, which combines both halotherapy and infrared. Now, what are the benefits in being able to offer halotherapy and infrared within the same cabin?
Well, one of the things I've always wanted to do, and working with Halotherapy Solutions and Steve's has just been a great partnership. But if you're going to spend your precious time doing something, why not do as much as you can? All right. So you could go in the sauna and then get out of the sauna and go in the halotherapy room, but let's combine them. So there are synergies in the body, in that in this vasodilation, we're going to boost your metabolism with the infrared. We're going to relax you, put you into a more parasympathetic state, which is all to the good. And that's going to have an inclination or a tendency for the halotherapy to work even better.
Mm.
And it's more relaxing, and then you come out and you've really done something here. So that's the difference.
And if anyone was listening and heard Connie speak, she was also talking about warming the body and how warm helps to expand and cold contracts. So if
Hmm.
you're warming up the lungs, it's helping them to open up. And then by bringing the halotherapy in at the same time, you're going to hopefully get a greater efficacy rate, because the particles will penetrate deeper into the lungs because they're open and ready to receive as such.
And not only open and ready to receive, but if you think in that vasodilation, you've got more blood flow going through the body. So you're just upping the ante, so to speak. And it really works well. It's a good marriage. Yeah.
Just something there Josh has mentioned. Does combining heat and sweat not diminish the efficacy of dry salt therapy? Well, as I understand it, when you're going to combine the two together, you would generally look to have your infrared at a lower heat while you're doing the halotherapy, if you're looking to treat skin conditions, because when you're sweating, it's obviously you're sweating off the salt. So you would tend to have it at a lower temperature. You could then have a hotter one if you're not treating skin conditions. And there are different protocols depending on what you're treating or what options you want at the time, aren't there?
Yes, and that's a great thing. The relationship we've had with halotherapy solutions is coming up with the protocols, because there are many different, it depends on what you're wanting to do and to come up with the best solution.
Just another question there on the moisture from the salt from Michelle. The corrosiveness of the equipment when moisture is attached to it. But I understand that you've covered that one off, haven't you, within these cabins?
Yes, we've sealed everything as far as electronics, and then we've designed the heaters, the ones you see around me, as such they actually will operate underneath the water. We had we had a inspector for one of our certifications years ago, and they just didn't believe that our heaters were waterproof. So we put one in the water.
Do
And
not try this at home.
we put one in the water. It was a clear vat and had a goldfish swirling around in it, and then filmed it while we showed that the temperature was rising. We didn't, no goldfish were harmed in this.
No fish and
Yeah,
chips.
yeah. No
We
fish
got
and
salt
chips for
for
that.
it
Yeah,
anyway.
we invented sous vide on that day. Yeah, or sous vide. Yeah. Anyway.
Brilliant. Now, now, talking more about your cabins, the infrared cabins, you don't just have infrared in there, do you? There are other things going on in your cabins.
Yes, there are. We have aromatherapy, and we have red light. In fact, I brought one in here. Hold
Fantastic.
on, I'm just going to turn it on here, and you can see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Red light.
So we designed our saunas that we can have a red light on the door. I just pulled one in here, and red light has a near and a red 66880, and that does a lot of the same things we're talking about, and then other things like photobiomodulation. We also have sound therapy in here, so just a lot of things for healing the body, again with that thought of, I'm in the sauna, I'm spending my precious time, what else can I do to heal? So
And this goes right into the whole therapy layering and people getting more bang for their buck, so to speak,
yeah.
By being able to experience more than one thing at a time. And it just touches all senses as well. So it's a great sensory experience for them too.
Yeah, it's mind, body, spirit, all together. We've got to heal all our different layers, and this does a pretty darn good job of doing that.
So
Yeah.
red light has become quite popular recently. Are you able to touch a little bit more on what the benefits of red light are versus
Sure.
just infrared, or where it goes over and above adding additional benefits?
Yeah, so the red light, the biggest popular word that on the charts in the past couple years has been associated with red light is photobiomodulation. which it's one of those big words. But basically, what it means is that in the same way that we can manufacture vitamin D from different levels of UVB from the sun or from another source, and we make vitamin D, the red light, the 660, 880 near infrared, will come into the body and actually in the mitochondria create ATP, and that's the powerhouse. That's a creation of energy in the cell. So basically what we're doing is we're making a cell. Cells usually have a certain life. Different cells have different lives, and we're increasing the lifetime, the lifespan of that cell just by putting light on it. It's very futuristic, but it's here now, and people are really scrambling to the red light now, and it works very well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also done a bit of reading up on the red lights, and it's very good for wound healing or helping
Yes.
scarring, skin, things like that as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I just want to pick up on something Kelly said there, how many sessions of your chromotherapy are required. I just want to make sure that we're not getting them confused. Chromotherapy is very different to red light. Now, chromotherapy is, there we go, all the different colors of the rainbow that come out of red light.
Yeah, this is why I'm doing this inside the sauna. So chromotherapy we've had for quite a long time. And there are many systems of chromotherapy. Some talk about the organs, some talk about how different colors hit the chakras. Many of these things you could study. It could be a whole study just in chromotherapy. And many people like it. I like the red. That's my favorite, I think. I don't know. It's more of a heart-centered thing. So we've got 12 different colors, yeah. Or you can put it automatic and just let them have their way with you, you know.
Well, right, we've got some questions coming in about these sensory experiences. So with the aromatherapy, as I understand it, it's just a little container that holds on to some essential oils. Is that right?
Well, our early early aromatherapy unit just had a little heater and a little shot glass. It was quite cute, and we still have that, and it would plug into the wall. It would just heat up the essential oil. But we are about to unveil our new aromatherapy that is rechargeable, will sit on the wall, and creates a very nice mist of different essential oils. There's a little drawer to put the essential oils in, and it's great. Yeah.
And does that add any kind of moisture to the air when you're doing that? Would it become an issue with the halotherapy?
No, not at all. No, you may not want to do them both at the same time, but yeah, no.
And I think it's not really an overpowering fragrance that you're looking to achieve. It's to just give it a very nice kind of gentle aroma, and I use that in my salt room actually, and I kind of time it maybe more on the time of day, and I tend to use like maybe a peppermint eucalyptus kind of thing in the morning when I'm trying to get people to feel more invigorated, and then maybe in the afternoon, evening, it might change to a lavender, something like that. You can kind of play around with it, can't you?
Yeah, you can play around with it, and I just love scents. And most people know this, but the interesting fact is the olfactory senses go directly in the brain. It's the only direct connection to the outside world we have without a synapse in between. It just goes right in. So that's why I think it has a very special effect. And I'm just a lavender fanatic, you know.
And if anyone out there is considering adding aromatherapy, maybe just to your sauna or wherever it is in your spa facility, creating something that is specific to your spa is quite a nice idea. And that ties in really nicely to Amy and Nigel's discussion about creating that story and carrying that through with everything that you do. So if you do have a fragrance that you can create that is synonymous to your facility, that's a great way to go as well.
That's great. I never heard of that, but that makes sense. We should come up with a clear light scent, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Right, we have a couple of other questions in here about insurances. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to answer these at this time, but we will see what Raleigh has to say. Fleur's asked, what about liability insurance for infrared sauna facilities just in case of a medical episode inside the sauna?
Hmm. Yeah, I think with any type of intervention that you do, you should carry good insurance that would cover that. We've never lost anybody in an infrared sauna over knock on wood in
Yeah.
25 years, and also do a good intake on that. But it shouldn't be too onerous. Yeah.
And are there any contraindications for using infrared and red light that you would flag up?
There are contraindications to saunas, and the very obvious ones. Pregnant women should not get in the sauna because you can start to detox, and you don't really want to do that. So detox before conception. Some of the conditions that are inflammatory conditions, lupus and inflammatory arthritis and things like that. Heat can exacerbate the condition, but then I've found many people that have found relief for rheumatoid arthritis, different conditions like that. So you just want to watch out for that. Obviously, when you get into the sauna, when I'm in my sauna session, I will get my heart rate up just like I'm working out. And I call this passive aerobic. So you want to watch people that have heart conditions, and those are the main three to watch out for. Yeah.
And when it comes to cancer patients, is there any kind of precautions around that as well?
Well, I always with cancer, and we have many people that have used the saunas to detoxify, but always talk to your physician before embarking on any type of course of work. It's been very effective, but for many people. But there have been questions about, if you're increasing the metabolism and moving more fluids around. So always talk to your practitioner before embarking on any course.
Now, there's a load of information on Clearlight's website. I know I've been on there many a times in the past, getting information. There's lots of videos on there of Raleigh as well.
That guy. Yeah.
So do go and check them and him out on there to find out more information. But I think we're going to need to wrap this up now. But before we do, I just want to maybe point out, or get you to point out, what should someone look for when buying an infrared sauna, or maybe what should they look out for? Because I know that there are vast differences between quality of infrared saunas.
So look for toxins. What type of glues are people using? Look for other toxins like high EMF. We have many patents on low EMF heaters. Look for a reputable company that's been around for a long time. Look for a warranty. We give a lifetime warranty for home use. Things of this nature. One of the telltale things, if you see a sauna where the heaters go above the head, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Because the infrared doesn't really heat the air. Let's concentrate the heaters, and instead of putting them up high, we keep them down here. We really don't want to heat the head much. And I want to take those and put them all around you, because it's the wavelength coming into the body. So I've got heaters down below, behind the legs, on the side, even in the floor. So it just has to think about it. It has to be a rational approach. Anyway, that's what to look for.
Brilliant. Now, there are a few more questions in the chat. I'm hoping that you might be able to stick around and maybe even just reply to those in the chat after we finish.
Love to.
But it's been absolutely wonderful having you on with us today. And as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Raleigh is one of our advisors. And with the breadth of knowledge that he has in this area, it's absolutely wonderful to have him part of the team. So I'm sure we're going to hear more from Dr. Raleigh in the future. But for now, I'd just like to say a huge thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Great. Thank you.
time. It's your place. It's your time out to give yourself the gift of healing. Because in here, there are no limitations to the benefits of soothing infrared therapy, where you can detoxify, de-stress, relieve pain, and burn calories. With over 20 years of innovation, where meticulous craftsmanship meets state-of-the-art technology. Our patented True Wave far infrared and full spectrum heaters deliver near, mid, and far infrared to raise your core body temperature and surround yourself with soothing infrared heat. You are guaranteed a pure and nurturing environment. So take the time to relax by indulging in the finest infrared experience again and again.